Welcome and thank you for coming to the Junior Parent Night. Tonight we are going to discuss post-high school planning. This will include the college search and application process, along with some information on financial aid and testing. My name is Mr. Green, and I will be one of your presenters tonight. I will also be accompanied by Mrs. Kelly Messing-Marabito. I'd like to start with defining two important aspects students should be considering when thinking about post-high school planning. The first is understanding of being career and college ready. To be career ready is to possess the skills that will increase one's marketability and employability. We call these the 4 C's of communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. And they're not often discussed, but most managers would say they're very important when it comes to doing a job well. Many students will be considered college ready after graduation. They will have the academic skills in the 3 R's of reading, writing, and arithmetic for the post-high school education or training they will need to earn a credential. These skills are needed to qualify for and succeed in entry-level credit-bearing college courses. So all students will be focusing on being career and college ready throughout their time at Rochester. Students will need to decide where that next level of post-high school education comes from. I have 5 choices listed here, but there may be others. Vocational training would be getting on-the-job training alongside additional training, say at a community college level. There might be some type of state program or a for-profit vocational training. We also have this at our Oakland Technical Center, where students are getting hands-on learning in a specific career or trade. Often overlooked is the armed forces. This is another vocational training type of education. Students would be going in, and yes, they would be committed for the armed forces over a period of 4 to 5 years. But while they're there, they're actually learning a skill in order to support our troops. Community college is probably the area best placed for students right after high school who are looking to get that post-high school education, but also want to have that on-the-job training or the possibility to go into the workforce. Those credentials established at a career community college can transfer directly into the next level, which could be a university 4-year degree. Of course, we have many of our students that go straight into a 4-year university degree. The last is the workforce. And again, this is one that students often don't think about when it comes to getting a post-high school education. Every single job will require students to be trained in a certain area for their career. So the workforce could be the right place for many students depending on their career path. And that's the important point. Which one of these is the best place for students to go depending on the career that they are choosing for that post-high school education? I would like to share this video with you to highlight that point.
Today we are going to talk about preparing for life after high school, getting a job, finding a career, and earning a living. The question, of course, is what does success really look like? The American workforce has changed a lot recently. Occupations in every industry now require a combination of both academic knowledge and technical skills. One without the other is no longer enough. Having both makes you more employable. Today, we want all high school students to graduate ready for both college and careers. In the next few minutes, you'll understand how to match who you are with who you want to be, and ultimately, how to get there. As you prepare for your future, you'll need to develop skills in 4 specific areas to achieve your dreams. Every day in school, you are gaining academic skills and knowledge. The classes you are taking matter in the world of work. But it's not just about getting good grades. Challenge yourself to learn how to apply the knowledge you are taught. Apply theories and concepts to real-world problems. This will help you be more competitive upon graduation, and you'll have additional options. You can also earn college credit now while still in high school through articulation, dual enrollment, or concurrent enrollment. So take your classes seriously and become the strongest reader, writer, and thinker you can be. Adults are expected to know other things like life skills. These are about everyday, real-world survival. They include things like how to bounce back after a bad experience, how to manage money and create a family budget, and how to remain healthy through good nutrition. Life skills will give you a strong foundation for your future. Local employers also expect certain things of people they hire. These are called employability skills. In fact, people who get the best jobs and keep them have this nailed. Employers expect you to have these skills from your very first day on the job. Things teachers often ask you to do, like meeting deadlines, working in teams, and organizing projects. These are employability skills. Learning how to manage your time, creatively solve problems, and communicate appropriately will help you prepare for the world of work. Then, there are technical skills. These can be very industry specific. They include the ability to apply what you have learned to working a computer, running a machine, or monitoring a patient's heart rate. High school students that are tech savvy with skills in areas of interest to them will find jobs, keep them, and get promoted more quickly. Find ways now to earn certificates and industry credentials in technical fields on your way to graduation. Each of these 4 areas matter to adults, including college professors and employers. Local employers will want to know what you can do and what you can do well, not just what diploma hangs on your wall. In fact, technical skills are part of the new currency in today's world. So how do you position yourself for high-wage, in-demand jobs? First, you need to understand the difference between average wages versus what you can project to earn. Let's say you were considering a career as either an electrician or a business manager. You would find that the average annual income for electricians is $51,000, only about half of the $105,000 average wage for management occupations. So at first glance, it looks as if getting a bachelor's degree in business is a no-brainer. But adding skills and ability into the picture adds a whole new dynamic. What if you have the potential to become an excellent electrician, but lack the skills and ability to be an excellent manager? Then you should be looking at projected incomes towards the bottom of the pay scale for managers and towards the top for electricians. You would then discover that electricians near the top of the pay scale make around $86,000, far higher than the income of a manager near the bottom of the pay scale at $52,000. Now this is just one example, but the concept is true throughout all industries. The claim that you will make more money with an increased amount of education is not necessarily inaccurate, it's just incomplete. That advice is based on just the averages, but no one is perfectly average. Everyone has unique skills, talents, and interests. Truth is, the income for the top people in a wide variety of technical jobs is higher than the average income for many occupations that require a bachelor's degree. So you're probably wondering what you need to do to get started. Here are 4 steps to position yourself for a successful career at the top of the pay scale. First, learn about yourself and your talents. You must take a career assessment to really get to know your personality strengths and your interests. Ask yourself, what do I love to do? As well as, what am I good at doing? These are very different questions. Identifying your core talents and skills will help you select some careers that align with your strengths. Knowing yourself is the first strategy to really figuring out what you will be successful at and enjoy doing. Second, explore all of your possible career options. Today, there are over 800 different jobs organized into 16 industry clusters. That's a long list of possible careers. Research the jobs you are interested in and find out the education, experience, and cost required. There is a lot of information online, and we also encourage you to talk with someone already in that field to learn more. It is not too soon to find out as much as you can. Identifying those careers that align with your personality and interests will help you make better decisions about your first career. After researching all the possibilities, the third step is to then set a tentative career goal based on your interests and abilities. And be sure to consider the range of wages in your local area in alignment with what you learned about yourself. This career doesn't have to be what you want to do for the rest of your life. Just set a goal of what you want to do first. The fourth step is to create a 10-year plan. This plan should include your tentative career goal, the education and training you'll need, and the realistic steps you plan to take to get there. Having such a plan will help you when you pursue an internship, select a college major, and seek employment. Also, be sure to make both a plan A and a plan B. Setbacks are inevitable, but don't worry, it's how you respond to these challenges that matter. We suggest developing strong coping skills and learning how to work well in teams. It is important to be able to pivot quickly and persevere down an alternative path towards your goal when obstacles arise. The academic knowledge, career awareness, and technical skills you gain during high school will serve you well as you pursue your next steps in life. And that's how you position yourself for a successful career. Focus on acquiring academic skills and knowledge, life skills, employability skills, and technical skills while you work through these 4 steps. Just always be true to who you are, strive to fulfill your full potential, and bring passion to whatever you do.
Okay, I hope that video gave you some insight into some things students should be considering before they start talking about where they will get that next level education. I'm going to have Mrs. Messing now talk about the college application process. As we know, many students will go straight from Rochester High to a college. Mrs. Messing?
Thank you. So we're going to start off with talking about what colleges are looking for in their students. The number one thing that they're going to be looking for is the GPA. They want students that are going to be successful at their university and are going to be graduating and then moving on to a career of their choice. So the GPA reflects a student's work for the past 3 years. So it's a really good indicator of success in college. The next thing colleges will look for is the SAT or ACT. The SAT is another tool to predict success at the college level. This is a tool that colleges use to evaluate students' abilities across different regions. So a GPA in one part of the United States may reflect something different than another part. So this just helps them compare from different regions. Colleges will also look at course selection. Did a student challenge themselves academically while they were in high school? If your student is interested in going into engineering, have they taken physics? Are they taking those math courses that will help prepare them to be successful? Colleges will also look at the essay if they require one. The essay is a nice way for students to be able to share more about who they are, what motivates them, what they're passionate about. Otherwise, college reps are really just looking at GPA versus GPA, ACT versus ACT score. So this provides the admissions officers to really understand what makes your child tick. Colleges will also be looking at recommendations. They typically tell us that they will only be reading a recommendation if they require it. So if a college doesn't require recommendations, you probably don't need to send one. You want to get a recommendation typically from a core academic teacher that knows you very well and your strengths in the classroom. We usually ask that students ask teachers for a recommendation at the end of their junior year so that teachers can work on those over the summer and have them ready during the college application timeline. And then the last thing colleges typically look for are those extracurricular activities. We know that a lot of skills are gained outside of the classroom through volunteer work, sports, club, leadership positions. They also want students that are going to be part of the college community. And they know that if students were part of their high school community and active, that they're more likely to be engaged at the college level. Next slide, please. This is just a nice little screenshot for students to look at what colleges are looking for. So here you'll see we have our SAT, ACT, and GPA. Some colleges will give a minimum GPA, most give an average. Same with the ACT and the SAT. This could be a good tool for students just to take a snapshot, knowing where their GPA and maybe their test scores are, and seeing where they might fit in this grid. Next slide. So that's kind of what colleges are looking for, but we want to also know, what is your student looking for, or your child in a university? It has to be a really good match. So it's what the college wants, but also what the student wants. So the first thing we recommend is students making sure that the college offers the program that they're interested in, that's going to get them to that next level, that career, kind of like what they talked about in the video. Finding out what you want to do and then making that 10-year plan. And with that 10-year plan is researching a college that's going to offer you what you need. This is Central Michigan. You can see here that it has a career outlook for biochemistry and then also career options. So making sure that the major is going to align to the career. I also encourage students to look at program overviews. Take a look and see what kind of courses are you going to need to take to get this major. As we look here, we can see hopefully the student excels and loves chemistry, because if you want to go into biochemistry, as we can see, there's going to be a lot of chemistry at the post-secondary school. Next slide. Other important things to consider when looking at a university or college or whatever you decide to do post-high school is looking at the location. Does your student want to be in Michigan, or do they want to be maybe in California? Do they see themselves in a rural big town with lots of energy and activities and things to do? Or are they more of a small town kind of person, and that would be more of a fit to their personality? Do they want to be in a suburb or in a rural area? So trying to find that location, that type of community that that student will thrive in and feel comfortable. The size of the school is also important. Do you want to go to a really large school where you might have more options in terms of majors and program of studies? Maybe you'll have larger libraries and more extracurricular opportunities, maybe more sports opportunities. So that larger school, is that something that's really going to energize your students? Or would they maybe feel more comfortable with a smaller school, where maybe it's a more personal atmosphere, maybe more similar to Rochester High School size? They may have smaller classes. And a lot of times at those smaller schools, you may have a different relationship with your professor, where you might be able to text them or call them if you get stuck on something. You also might want to look at the cost. I usually tell families, don't worry about cost when you're applying. Wait till you see what kind of financial aid package they offer you in the spring, and then take that into consideration. But you can always be asking about what kind of financial aid or scholarships does the school offer. So that could impact your decision as well. Public versus private. Also, those campus activities or athletic programs might be something important. If you've been involved in marching band all 4 years at Rochester High School, it might be important for you to be able to have that experience in college. So maybe that's going to be one of the criteria that you're looking for when choosing a post-secondary option. We also want to look at academic reputation. Is this college or university, are they graduating students, and are those students getting jobs in their career field? So if you are looking at a school, and let's just say they have a 45% graduation rate, that should be a red flag, because there's a disconnect from those students that are attending that school and applying to them graduating. So there's something that's not working there. We also want to look at support services. If you're struggling in college, what kind of supports do they have? Do they offer free tutoring? Do they have an academic skills center? Do they offer career services? So career services could be getting to know what your strengths are, your personality, your interests, to help you narrow down that career field. But it could also be, do they have career placement? Will they help you in trying to find a job post-college? Next slide. So we usually recommend that students begin with creating a list of colleges that they think meet that criteria. Now, there's some good tools out there. The internet is one of them, and Zello is a great one. Zello and College Board have a school selector option, So you can put in your major if you want to go to a large school, if you want to be in the state of Michigan or California, and you can put in all that criteria, and then it will create a list of colleges that match the criteria that you put in. So we usually recommend that students get on Zello. Every student has a Zello account, and counselors will be working with juniors this school year to update their EDPs. Zello is formerly known as Career Cruising, but it's a wonderful tool, and we encourage all of our students to get on there and use it. Other ways to kind of create that list is you might be getting mailings. So a lot of times our juniors this time of year might start getting a lot of mail from different colleges and universities promoting their programs. If any of those look interesting, those might be ones that you would want to add. We also have college representatives come to Rochester High School in the fall, typically in October. This past year, they visited us virtually, but hopefully next year, they will also be coming in person to meet with students that are interested in learning more about their college. We usually recommend students sign up because this is the admissions officer that's going to be reviewing their college application, and they can answer any questions regarding financial aid, programs, career placement, those academic supports that they might offer. So this is a great time, and usually it's in small groups, so it's a nice conversation. We typically will also offer a college night. Due to COVID, we did not offer one this past year, but hopefully next October. And at our college night, we have over 100 different opportunities for education through colleges, armed forces, trade schools, community colleges, where students can walk around and talk with their admissions officers and find out more information about programs and options. We also encourage students to visit the campus. Many colleges are doing virtual tours right now. Some are doing in person, but you want to be able to get on that campus and get a real feel for the school and the atmosphere before committing to it. And then always talking with counselors and teachers, parents, students, and alumni. You want to gather as much information. Choosing where you're going to be trained or get an education after high school is, it's a big decision because you're going to be investing a lot of time and energy into yourself. And you really want to make sure that it is going to be a good fit for you so that you are set up for success. Next slide, please. So visiting a college campus, usually I recommend that students visit. Spring break is a great time because those colleges and universities, they're in full session. So usually, maybe not this year or last year, but typically, students are going to be on campus and they're going to get a good feel for what it feels like at a typical day. And we are typically off school, so it's a nice time. When you visit a campus, we usually recommend meeting with that admissions counselor. Once again, that is the person that is going to be reviewing your application. So having that conversation can be really helpful. And also verifying those admissions requirements, making sure that you fit what they're looking for and that you have everything that's going to be needed submitted. If you're on the bubble, and this might be a reach school for you, then maybe even talking with that admissions officer about what kinds of things you might be able to do that would help your application and chances for admissions. You can also talk about financial aid and college costs. So you might be able to find what is the cost for tuition, but what is books, food plan, housing? What kind of financial aid opportunities do they have? Do they require the CCS profile? Also, do they have any scholarships that maybe as a freshman you could be applying for? So talking about those financial aid opportunities is important as well. And of course, getting on campus and taking that tour. Colleges want you to come on campus if it's safe. They will typically have you eat a meal in the dining hall. They will show you the housing. Some colleges will offer overnight stays. They might give you tickets to a football game or a basketball game. They will take you on a tour, and the students will take you to different areas of the school, and they'll educate you on what the school has to offer and give you a feel of the culture of the school. Sometimes you'll be able to even visit a class, attend a class, talk to a professor, maybe in an area of study that you're interested in. But you definitely want to get on that campus so that you really get a good feel of if this is a good fit for you. And always talk with students that are there and faculty. What do they like about it? What do they wish the university offered that they don't? Next slide.
Thank you, Kelly. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
So now that students have gone through that junior year process, they've gotten their schools that they're considering applying to, and they're going to start to narrow down their choices to what schools and programs that they are considering. They're going to want to make sure that they review those college admissions requirements. There are some schools that may require, say, a world language or a certain math level to go into a certain program. You want to make sure that all students have reviewed that on top of what are the averages to get admitted to those programs. Be aware of any application fees. Students who are in the free and reduced lunch program should have all fees waived. But if there's something going on in the family during that time of application, contact your counselor and we might be able to help with those application fees and getting those waived. Make sure you're observing any deadlines. This applies to scholarships as well. A lot of times those scholarships are going to be coming right at the beginning of the school year as well as throughout the school year. So you want to make sure that your student is aware of any deadlines related to applications as well as scholarships. We generally encourage our seniors to apply for the fall. We usually set a deadline sometime after October 31st for students to get those initial applications in, those first schools that students want to be at. All applications will be submitted online. This is now standard practice. And a part of that application process will be at least 3 steps. And if there is a recommendation letter, there could be a 4th. And I would like to go through those now. A step that students can take right now would be to establish their Parchment account. Parchment is the website and the partner that we use to send all transcripts electronically. This will take place whether they're at Rochester or they've already graduated. This will always be our partner in supplying colleges with student records. Students can start their Parchment account right away. And then in the spring and summertime, they will begin again to narrow down those college choices based on their research, get any recommendation letters from teachers that they may need or want. I always advise students the best time to get a recommendation letter is in the spring and early summer when teachers have more time, because the fall can be very busy in a high school. Begin looking at the applications and the websites. Most applications will open up August 1st of the summer before senior year. Students might also be considering transferring between university as part of their plan. Make sure to speak to universities ahead of time. Not all universities will accept transfer credits. Students and parents can go to the Michigan Transfer Network, look up courses and see what schools will accept those credits. So if you were starting at OCC for 2 years and then planning to transfer to Michigan State University, you could go to Michigan State University, see what the program will require in terms of classes, and then look up the classes at OCC that will transfer to meet those program needs. GPA, ACT, or SAT scores may not apply if a student is looking to transfer. Once a student has earned 24 to 30 college credits, colleges will not need a student's ACT, SAT, or GPA. They will simply look at what did the students do while they were at that community college. So let's now talk about financial aid. How will students and parents plan to pay for college? The number one way that students will be able to pay for college is through scholarships. Okay, this is a process that spans the entire senior year. It's not just something done in the fall. There are a variety of ways that students can find scholarships. There are some central portals, as well as at the college level websites where students can search for them. Our counseling website does have a scholarship page where throughout the senior year, we will be posting scholarships that we are aware of in our counseling office. We also have different links such as FastWeb, scholarship.com, and others that students can look through in order to find scholarships. There is no one central place for scholarships for students. So that's why it's recommended that they are spending at least one day a month, every month throughout the senior year, looking up different scholarships, as they will continue to pop up and then the deadlines will pass throughout the school year. The way of paying for scholarship, the way for paying for college that many parents know is obviously through some type of financial aid program. Most of the financial aid programs, such as FAFSA, will always take into consideration both parents' financial standings. FAFSA is something that students and parents will actually apply for starting in October. The date has changed. It used to be in January, and now it's the October time of students' senior year where that process will take place. Many students might not think that they will qualify for any level of financial aid, but this indicator is also what colleges, especially private schools, use to see if there's any additional monies that the school can provide beyond federal financial aid. So what is FAFSA? It's a free application for federal student aid. It's what shows colleges and universities what the families are capable of paying for. And it gives them, again, that indicator of what other monies could a college come in and provide for students. Most people will associate a loan with FAFSA, and that is true. But students and families don't have to accept any financial aid, even if it is offered to them. This is simply the government letting colleges and parents know exactly what they feel that the family could provide for in terms of a college application. The state of Michigan has a variety of programs that students can access through the michigan.gov MI Student Aid website. There's also scholarships available to them through this website, or grants. It's got a lot of great information for both need-based and non-need-based students. So we highly recommend checking out Michigan's programs.
Okay, and now I'd like to just briefly talk about the Michigan Merit Exam, or the MME. This is a graduation requirement that all juniors must attend and take all 3 segments. The test dates are set for April 13th, April 14th, and April 15th. Next slide. Day 1 of the MME is the SAT plus essay. So this includes reading, writing, math, and for the first time, an essay. Students should be familiar with the SAT as they've taken the PSAT every school year. The PSAT helps prepare them to be successful and improve their scores on the SAT. Students can upload their PSAT score to Khan Academy, and Khan Academy will evaluate their test scores and then give students practice on those areas that need to be strengthened. Day 2 is Work Keys. This is a workplace skills assessment, or as the video previously had talked about, those employability skills. So an example of a very easy question might be, I bought a candy bar for 25 cents. I paid with a $10 bill. What is my change? So this isn't something that would be used for college admissions, but it would be used possibly for employability. So once you finish this part of the test, you can earn a certificate. There's 4 different levels: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. If you are platinum, that means that you have the skills to be successful in 99% of the jobs out there. So once again, when you're looking for a job or a career and you're interviewing, this might be something that you would bring up or add to your resume or your portfolio. And then the third day of MME is just Michigan based, and it includes social studies and science.
Thank you, Kelly. And as Mrs. Messing alluded to, Khan Academy has a great program for helping students get prepared for this exam. I feel that students who are taking college preparatory courses and doing well in those courses are going to have a leg up in terms of doing well as they're learning the material in the classroom. But there's a variety of ways to get prepared. There are books that students can check out in the library or a bookstore. They can look at taking preparation courses online or in person. College Board also has some information for students looking to get prepared, but we feel the best preparation has been the Khan Academy link. Students can take their PSAT scores that they've taken with Rochester schools and plug those into Khan Academy. So they're only looking at what areas they actually need to prepare for and not the entire exam as a whole. I've had many students and parents ask me, what is the difference between ACT and SAT? Both of these tests are generally accepted by major universities. So students might want to look at which test really fits their skill sets the best so they can do their best. This slide illustrates the differences between the SAT and the ACT. You can see there's differences in timing, differences in how the scores look. You can also see that the ACT has a science portion while the SAT does not have a science portion. That means that they're putting more of that score into areas of reading and writing. So if that's a skill set that your student possesses, you may want them to take the SAT or over the ACT. Students also ask, can they retake an exam if they feel that they didn't do well or their score did not qualify them for a certain scholarship? And the answer is yes. It's actually encouraged, as many students will improve their score each time they retake the test. Colleges also only will keep the highest score, and they don't factor in taking multiple ACTs or SATs into their admission process. They simply want the score, the best score that the student can provide. So that is the end of our presentation. We are going to be able to take questions from you. If you would like to email your student's counselor, we've provided those email addresses here. Feel free to contact any of those counselors, and they're happy to answer any questions after we've finished our presentation. Thank you for coming, and we hope that you have a great evening.